This is the Xiaomi Pad 6, my best friend for the last 2 months. Now, if you've been following C4E Tech for a bit, you'd know I've been traveling a lot. I've been in Shenyang, Shenzhen, and Hong Kong over the last couple of months, and through all this travel, the Xiaomi Pad 6 has been my primary tablet. And actually, I've been using it as my primary for a lot longer, for about 6 months by this point. So in today's video, let me walk you through what my experience has been with the Xiaomi Pad 6. Hey guys, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech, and this is my long-term review of the Xiaomi Pad 6. One of the most important things about a tablet, it's gotta be the display. And Xiaomi's done a fantastic job here on the Pad 6. This is a Gorilla Glass 3 covered 11-inch IPS LCD panel with a 16:10 aspect ratio, a 144Hz refresh rate, and a 2.8K resolution. So it's very smooth, very sharp, 309 pixels per inch to be precise. I've read a lot of manga on this, some novels. I've also used it to watch movies in flight, play back YouTube late at night, and it's been awesome throughout. I mean, just see how low the brightness goes. This is perfect for use in a dark room. And the peak? It hits about 470 nits under manual mode and 570 nits under auto, which for a device that you're going to be predominantly using indoors, it's pretty darn good. There is also support for HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Now when I started using my Xiaomi Pad 6, I left the screen on the standard original color Pro mode, but if you prefer more punchy colors, you can switch it to either vivid or saturated. Now if none of that works for you, you can dial it in just exactly how you want. Similarly, even for audio, you get to dial things into your liking with a full-fledged equalizer that Xiaomi's provided. And that kind of brings us to the next most important aspect of a tablet, audio. Here we get a quad speaker setup with Dolby Atmos. Now there are two on each side, so no matter how you're holding the tablet, you still get unmuffled stereo audio, and they sound great. Here, have a listen. The Xiaomi Pad 6 also features 4 microphones on board, so the audio pickup for meetings, it's pretty good. Now this is 1080p 30 that's being shot by the 8 megapixel selfie camera on the Pad 6, and it kind of surprised me. Now, yes, it's 1080 30, but see how wide the field of view is and see how good the dynamic range is? I didn't expect that. Anyways, the audio is also coming straight from the Pad 6. I've not processed it in any way. So how do you guys find this? Leave a comment. Now this camera, it's located on top when the tablet's in landscape. To me, that makes a lot of sense given that's how I predominantly use a 11-inch tablet. The stills seem fine too. Nothing amazing, but for a tablet camera, it's good. Natural skin tones and surprisingly good dynamic range. Okay, I've been very positive about the Pad 6 so far, so let's now touch upon a few negatives. Even if you're willing to pay more, there is no 4G or 5G version. Even worse is the fact that on such a huge device, Xiaomi found no room for microSD or a headphone jack. Actually, Xiaomi doesn't even include a GPS, NFC or a fingerprint scanner either, but I think these are things you could let pass as cutting the right corners. Face unlock via the selfie camera was reasonably fast, but you saw how dim the screen can get, right? So at night, in bed, it doesn't work great. So I ended up using a pattern when traveling and just disabling screen lock while I was at home. To the back, we have a camera array that looks like it's straight out of the Xiaomi 13, but no. This is not even a dual camera setup. This one's purely cosmetic. The sole rear camera is a 13 megapixel f2.2, and once again, it surprised me with the dynamic range. But let's be honest, this is not even gonna compete with cameras you see on Redmi Notes these days. But it is fine for the occasional document scan. It's a good tablet camera. As long as the ambient lighting is strong, you should be able to get reasonably good images. For video, the Xiaomi Pad 6 tops out at 4K 30. The footage is stable, there's a little bit of lens breathing, EIS jitter, but it's still quite competent, once again, by tablet standards. Now the next important thing for me would be battery life. Now the Xiaomi Pad 6 is super sleek, just 6.5mm. It is also relatively light at 490 grams. So at first glance, it's fair for you to expect the battery to be something Xiaomi compromised on, but no. We get a large 8840 mAh battery on the inside. Now, I typically charge my Pad 6 once every 2 or 3 days when I'm traveling, where my usage is typically heavier, 3 to 4 hours of calls or videos every night. When I'm home though, I charge this once every 4 days maybe. My usage, it's pretty much a 45-minute run of Slay the Spire every night and then 30 minutes or so of YouTube videos. The idle rain is very minimal. Now it is worth mentioning that I leave the display set to 144Hz, but if you want to be more conservative, you can set it to 90Hz or 60, or just leave it on auto and let Xiaomi decide. Now when it comes time to charge, Xiaomi's included a 33-watt charger in the box, and this gets the Pad 6 from 0 to 50 in about 43 minutes. It gets you a full charge in little over an hour and a half. Now with the Pad 5, Xiaomi used metal to the sides and plastic to the back. This time around though, even the back is metal. You can either get the Pad 6 in this blue color or there's a matte black option. Sadly, both pick up smudges very easily. It was never an issue for me since I always used my Pad 6 with this cheap TPU case I picked up, but if you're considering using it naked, this might be something worth keeping in mind. Under the hood, the Xiaomi Pad 6 is powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 870 SoC. The 870 is basically a beefed up version of the 865, which was Qualcomm's flagship SoC in 2019. So it is quite an old chip, but honestly, I feel it still holds up pretty well today. It has no issues pushing the higher refresh on the interface, and even multitasking was a breeze, though I only have the 6K RAM option. I oftentimes run two apps side by side, and for the most part there was no issues. Now MIUI 14 does allow you to have floating windows on top, so when I have two apps side by side and then open up a floating window, that's when I notice a bit of stutter, some frame drops here and there. But for regular usage with a single app or even two apps side by side most times, the Snapdragon 870 had no trouble. I like what Xiaomi's done with MIUI Pad 14 here, the dock that can be accessed from anywhere, forcing apps that don't work on landscape into this sort of mode. It's quite well done. With gaming, you're gonna have to make some trade-offs with some titles, but a lot of them ran just fine. And when you pair it with something like this, the BSP D8, it actually transforms into a halfway decent streaming device with a huge screen. Sustained performance was not an issue here. The large available surface area means the Xiaomi Pad 6 ended up losing only 10% of its performance after 20 minutes of continuously being pushed. While it got warm, it never got uncomfortably hot. That said, with gaming, storage might become an issue. These days, given how large games are getting, if you pick up the base storage variant 6128 like I did, you might run out of storage real quick. Now, from an accessory standpoint, Xiaomi offers three main ones, all sold separately. First, there's the standard folio case which supports screen auto wake and auto sleep. And then there's this keyboard case which connects via these pogo pins to the back. And finally, there's the second generation Xiaomi Smart Pen with 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity. Unlike most videos of the Xiaomi Pad 6 that you'd have seen, this one is not a review unit, so I didn't get all these sent to me and I didn't feel I needed them, so I just picked up this cheap TPU case and this cheap stylus, and it's been great for me. But these are accessories Xiaomi offers in case you need. So overall, I've loved my time with the Xiaomi Pad 6. For an asking price of 399 euros or 27,000 Indian rupees, Xiaomi seems to have put together an excellent value tablet. Is it gonna compete with something like the Galaxy Tab S8 or the Galaxy Tab S9? Definitely not. But when you compare it with something like the Tab S9 FE, this one seems to be amazing value. But before you make a purchase decision, there's one more thing for you to keep in mind. Now, I can't find any official confirmation from Xiaomi on the update policy for this one. If you do find something, let me know in the comments. What I did find were some reports that say 2 Android version updates, 3 years of security patches, that's what's expected. There are even other reports indicating HyperOS is in the works and should be rolled out by end of the month. So this seems to be a bit of a gray area for me. So anyways, that's the Xiaomi Pad 6. What do you think? Is this something you can see yourself getting? If not, what do you think is a better alternative? Leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.